Hey everyone, this video is going to show you how to get started with C++ development using Xcode on the Mac. Normally I end up using VS Code or Xcode. Unfortunately, Visual Studio does not work well on Mac for C++ development. So the first thing you need to do is go to the App Store and install Xcode. You can find your App Store, you can search for Xcode, and you can go ahead and install it. So we have this right here. You go to Xcode, you find it, go ahead and install that. You'll see I already have Xcode installed, so I am just going to go ahead and find it in my apps, click Xcode, and it pops up. So the first thing we want to do is create a new project. It should start on iOS, switch over to Mac OS, and just say a command line tool. Click Next. Product name, you can give it a name probably appropriate for this class, CS5010 2020 A999999 green, something like that. You can adjust these other values as you see fit, but make sure you pick the language as C++. That's very important. Go ahead and pick Next. Then you can pick where you want to put this. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to make a new CS5010 folder. And I'm going to let it create this in here. I'm also going to tell it to create a Git repository on my Mac. That means it'll put everything under version control already, which will help us get started. Okay, I will create this. We end up right here looking at our project properties. It's giving us some things about general, build settings, all those kind of things. You don't really need to worry about that. You can switch over here. You see you have your main.cpp. If you need to add new files, you can always say new files. You can add files to this. We have our main.cpp here. This is wonderful. It gives us a little preview of our code that we can walk up and down with. So you can do two things here. First off is you can just say build. It'll build your code. Hey, build succeeded. If I have an error, well, it's not giving me anything. Oh, there it is. Expected this. It shows me my errors. You'll either see that in line. You'll see it when you try to build your code. Build failed. You can also see it on the error tab over here, right? So it says build time expected this after expected semicolon after expression. So I'll go ahead and fix that. I'm also going to go ahead and add just a little extra here. Enter a value, cin A. Uh-oh, cin, unidentified. There we go. And it looks like we are in good shape, so we can go ahead and build our project. We can also debug our project, right? We have this debugging thing. We can go ahead and we can set some breakpoints in here. And we can click play and let's see what happens. There we go. You'll see our debugging window has opened at the bottom of the screen. It's stopped on this. Our tools for debugging are down here at the bottom. You can deactivate your breakpoints. You can continue the program until the next breakpoint. Step over, which goes to the next line. Step into, which would step into a function if we were making a function call. And step out of, which would do the opposite, step out of a function. You can see some of these other things here. You can look at memory graphs, some more advanced type things, all that kind of stuff. This is not really what we want to do at this point. So we are going to go ahead and step over. You'll see I have my enter a value back here. Let me get back to my CPP file. It asks to enter a value. I'll enter 56. Error, 56 is not a valid command. Oh, I'm screwing this up. So let's go ahead and restart this. Let's go and run it all again. Oh, I had to wait for my C in there. 56. It's still going. Hello world 56. There we go. I've seen my output here. I do this. If I run it again, one of the really nice things that you'll see here, I'm going to add an extra breakpoint there and just tell it to play through. I should be able to go in here. Hey, look, I can inspect my value. I can also change the value of a variable, so I can see where my logic is breaking and working. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. We're going to look at our files. You'll see that we have our file in here. We have all these other tabs that you're welcome to explore, right? So for instance, this is my version control tab. It tells you about your branches and your remotes and all this kind of thing. So you can do all of this stuff through Xcode when you're ready to add this to GitLab. which is the last step that we have here. Okay. So I can look in here. You'll see it gives me all kinds of options. I actually have source control options. I can commit my changes. I can discard my changes. You can do this through the Xcode directly here. The other thing that you can do is do it through your terminal. Generally, I prefer to do this. So I'm going to go to my desktop. You'll see I have 5010 there. Okay, there's my ls minus la. Hey, there's everything. I can do a git status. Hey, this is great. All this kind of stuff is here. The one thing I am going to do very quickly, since I have everything in place, I'm going to add a git ignore file. Okay? You can see, you're not going to see it in here because of how the view is set up, but I can always do that from the command line. I can also always go in here and say, well, if I want to open something, can I open a file? If you don't see that, press Command Shift and period, and it should reveal it, which is not working at the moment. Maybe because I'm in the wrong directory. Let's see. I think I may be. So let's go back to our open window. There we go. Command Shift and period. You'll see I have my Git file here. I also have my Git ignore. I can open that file. And what I want to do with Git ignore is I want to go to gitignore.io and type in Xcode. It gives me some great things here so that I don't mess up my project. I'll go ahead, add this in, save that. Fantastic. Now I'm going to go back to the command line. You'll see right here, we'll do a git status. I'm going to do a git add my git ignore file. Okay? And you'll see I'm also missing my CPP file, so I can do my git add main.cpp. Okay? So we have this. I can do my commit. There we go. We should be in pretty good shape here. The next thing you would do is git push, but you'll see, oh my, I do not have a remote. So we are going to go back. We are going to go to gitlab.com. We are going to go ahead and we are going to create a new project. CS5010 Summer 2020 Xcode test. So you would name this appropriately for your project. Make it private, keep it empty. Okay? You'll see what we've actually done is all the steps in here. We're just missing two, and that's this git remote add and git push. Now note, it is using the SSH version here, so if you're using HTTPS, you do need to change this. And there are two ways to do this. One is I can come right here on the command line and add that here. Okay. The other way is in Xcode. You'll see if I go to my version control tab, I have remotes, and I can say add existing remote, and I can always add this remote in. I would take off the git remote add origin, and because this is HTTPS, I would say this, and I could hit add, and that would be just fine. In fact, I can show you how to do this. I will say add, and if I go to the command line, I'll clear this. Hey, origin's there. I can also remove this and say git remote add. I can add the same thing. Oops. You will see that I typed this incorrectly. Git remote add. I have to give it a name. There we go. Now if I go back and do a -v, I have my origin. Great. So now I can come in here and I can do my push, but the first time that you do your push, you have to do this command, git push -u origin master. You'll see that right there. So we can now go into here. 13. There we go. It's pushing it up. If I go here, you will see my Xcode project has now been set up. I have my Xcode project folder. I have this. It has my main.cpp file, and I am in generally good shape. Now I can go in here. I can add some more things. And you can see if I go back, I can always do this through here. I can go source control, commit. Hey, that's great. It's going to ask me for a commit message. commit one file, everything is committed, right? And you can see source control, that goes there. You can work through all these. You can branch from master, tag from master, all these wonderful things. So you can all play with this and see exactly what you want to do. There's also a source control menu up here, so you can also do your pushing and pulling. So I say push to origin master, sure. It's going to ask me for my account, rgreen13, or it could ask me for this personal access token. This is going to cause problems for most of you, so what I'm going to tell you to do is always do this from the command line. Okay? So hopefully that helps you all get settled using Xcode with Git, GitLab for CS5010.